And we've been joined by East Carolina coach Ruffin McNeill. The Pirates are 6-2 overall, 3-1 in the American Athletic Conference. East Carolina had an open week this past weekend. Pirates back in action this Thursday at Cincinnati. That will be a 7 p.m. Eastern Time start. The game will be televised on ESPN2. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call today. If you would take a minute to tell us how your open week has gone in preparation for the Thursday night matchup against Cincinnati, please.
Okay, I appreciate you having me on again. It went very well, I think, because of our leadership group. We attacked the week. I'm fortunate to have guys that you are very resilient, which I've used that before, but really they're about action. And when we began practice last Wednesday and Thursday, it was one of the most competitive 2 days we had. We went first team versus first team, ones versus ones, and for short periods of time, and it really was very competitive. Then we began game week last Friday, and I was proud of the way we approached it. A heavy day for us was on Tuesday, install day, and we know we're facing a very, very well-coached Cincinnati team this week, and very talented team, as this whole league is from up and down. But they've proven themselves as a program to always be at the top of the conference race and one of the top teams in the country. And when you watch them on film, you see a very talented group on all two sides of the football. And, of course, I know what Coach Doubleville has done and where he's been and his reputation of always putting out well-coached teams. So we're looking forward to the rest of the week preparation and making the trip up to Cincinnati on Wednesday and playing on Thursday.
Take questions for Coach Ruffin McNeill. Please star 1 on your telephone to join the queue. The operator will introduce you.
Thank you. And we'll go to Dan Tortora with Dan Tortora, Broadcast and Media.
How you doing today, Coach?
Dan, I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks for asking. You talked about the bye week a little bit. I know you had stated that you had some first team versus first team, ones versus ones. What were some of the big things that you were able to take from that? And do you typically like to put your ones up against your ones in practice? Is that like a normal theory for you?
Yeah, it is, Dan. The earlier bye weeks, we didn't do quite as much. We used the majority of those in-between bye week days to get short bursts of one versus ones, but more of the twos and the guys that may not have as many repetitions as the starters get, but guys we know we need to count on to develop. And still, one of the things we talk about, Dan, is having competitive depth, and we normally use it, and we did use a little bit for that, but it got down to that. And I tell you what else, Dan, we just got back to making sure we stay focused on what defines us, and that's making sure we stay dedicated to our team and stay dedicated to our vision and mission, and having a large group of guys like you've heard me say all year, of guys who understand and believe in our values and thought process, and it helps. It makes our job easier. They really enjoy playing with each other and for each other, and so does the staff. I'm very blessed to have a great staff that feels the same way.
And then as far as one of those guys, obviously he's been successful this season, Shane Carden, but not just as a quarterback, also as a person. I know that you look at all of your guys as who they're going to be in the community as well as who they are on the field. So how would you define Shane Carden as far as how you see him?
Well, that's a great question. It's when we talk about dedication to the team, we're talking about embracing your role and trying and always looking for ways to make the team better, program better. We talk about defining our team. We talk about ways to keep us focused and dedicated to the vision or mission. And Shane exudes that from how he works. We have a mantra or saying, well done is better than well said. And Shane leads in that category of making sure we stay dedicated to team concept. And when your best players are your hardest workers, as well as carry your belief of what defines your program and team, it just makes, like I mentioned earlier, our jobs as coaches so much easier. And he does that on both of those venues of dedication to the team and dedication to staying focused on our mission.
And then finally, obviously, taking a recent loss, you had an opportunity to take a look at that and move forward. How have you seen the team respond to something like that? You've had a very successful season. Your losses have been very far apart, but coming at a late time in the season, how have you addressed it, and how do you feel the team has responded to it?
Well, that's another great one about action. You know, we talked about you can talk about the problem, or you can be problem solvers. And the team and the staff, we approached it in an attack action type process where we identified what we always have, what we need to work on, and as far as whether it was fundamental or execution or was it penalties, any of those things. And we brought officials out to practice, of course, which we normally do that, but even more during the open week, making sure we never forget that basic. And I got from Coach Pat Dye, was making sure we keep improving on basic blocking and tackling. Real simple old football, but we did that and got even a little bit more further, even more fundamental emphasis on particular groups, special team wise, and within the special team groups, and offensively within the offense, whether it was an offensive line or running back, or defensively up front or linebacker type, even more in depth of that. But it was definitely a week of action, and by the staff and by the team.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, Dan. Thank you.
Questions for Coach McNeill, please. Star 1 on your telephone, if so. Then, Coach, we'll thank you for your time this week. We look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
Yes, sir, always. Thank you.